Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Snyder, the dental director of the St. Vincent de Paul Charity Dental Clinic here in Phoenix, Arizona. And welcome to another edition of the Happiness Factor. Now, today I'm going to deviate slightly from my usual topics of humor, laughter, and play. And I say slightly because I think today's topic fits in nicely with the concept of what we're trying to create through the Happiness Factor, is how to lead a happier, healthier, more meaningful, and more joyful life. Now, this concept or activity, actually, if you will, is called awe spotting. Not A-H, but A-W-E, awe spotting. Now, I first officially heard of this term as I read an article by Reagan Olson, who's actually a freelance writer, and she works with nonprofits, especially those in the healthcare sector, to help them with their fundraising activities and projects. But awe spotting is actually something I've been doing for many, many years. I just never pinned a name to it. Now, I'd like you to stop and think for a moment. When was the last time you were truly in awe of something? Now, some of you might say days or weeks or months. Well, shame on you. Now, actually, that sounds about right for most people. But it need not be, because you see there's awe and wonderment everywhere around us every second of the day. But unfortunately, for many of us, recognizing these moments of awe are few and far between. Perhaps it was seeing one of your children being born. I had the privilege of experiencing that 5 times. My wife, Joanne, and I have 5 wonderful children. Perhaps it was hiking to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I've had that experience on multiple occasions as well. One of my favorite places for awe-inspiring is Yosemite National Park in California. And to me, it's one of the, most awe-inspiring places on the planet. Why is it we don't recognize more moments of awe? One of my good friends says that, we're not human beings, we are human doings. We constantly feel the need to do something. We also miss out on so many moments of awe because we fail to live in the present. We're consumed by the past or thoughts of the future. But I want to give you today 5 suggestions that you can use to help you with awe spotting and recognizing all the wonderful things that should bring us awe that are around us each and every day. Number 1, get outdoors. There's so many awe-inspiring things that take place outdoors. My wife and I love to sit out on our back patio and watch the sunset. And here in Arizona, we have so many wonderful sunsets. Sometimes in the morning, we'll sit out on the front porch and we'll watch the sun come up and over the mountains and the majesty of it all. We also love to watch a full moon. Here in the desert, as the moon comes up over the mountains, it's like a huge yellow ball. And, my wife Joanne says, if this were to happen like once in a lifetime, people would be preparing for it for days, it would be like unbelievable. But here it happens every single month. And we like, it's a full moon. Okay, so what? But really it should bring awe to us. And the same with the stars. Sometimes we'll sit on the front porch and in the evening and watch the lights come on up and down the neighborhood. And it's, just the awe of electricity and the wonder of that and what it does in our lives. Every year, my wife and I try to take a fall trip, sometimes up north here in Arizona, sometimes to the northwest or the northeast, and to see the fall leaves. And it's just, you can't help but get out of your car and start snapping pictures everywhere. It's just so inspiring and so beautiful. Thought number 2, listen to music. Music can also trigger feelings of awe and other benefits too. When you listen to your favorite song that comes on the radio, it can instantly change your mood. And there's a good reason for that. It activates parts of the brain that actually regulate our emotions. It regulates our attention to detail and things like that, and also memory, which is why it has such an awe-inspiring effect on us. On the way to work every day, I love to listen to the oldies. I'm a kind of a Motown guy. I grew up in that era. And no matter what kind of a mood I'm in or what lies ahead during the workday, it just kind of puts me in an unbelievable mood. And I always climb those back stairs to the clinic and just kind of have so much energy and can't wait to get going. Thought number 3, spend time with a child. Wow, kids, I always say kids have it all together. It's we adults that are messed up. But kids are so awe-inspiring, and we all need to be more childlike. And in a later podcast, we're going to differentiate between childlike versus childish. But children find awe in everything. I mean, seeing a bumblebee, seeing a butterfly, looking up at the stars, every little thing, they're so awe-inspired. And I think we need to recapture that. And we all had that in our childhood as well. Awe-inspiring thought number 4, reframe day-to-day tasks. I always look for, on the way to work, what I'll do, I play this little game. And that's why I say I've been doing actually awe spotting for many years and never realized or put a name to it. But on the way to work, I'll say to myself, I want to find 5 things, 5 wonders of nature that I drive by most days and totally miss. And I want to look for those, and I want to, and I make it a point that I have to find 5 on the way into work and 5 on the way home. And it just, again, puts you in a better mood, and it makes you aware of all these wonderful things around us. You know, I had an experience, I mentioned in one of the former podcasts, that I worked in an intensive care unit for 2 years while I was in dental school. And I can remember people lying there in bed, and a lot of times they had trachs in them and so forth, and they know they're never going to get out of that bed again. And all of a sudden, you know, even the taste of a cup of coffee that they just, you know, every day just took for granted, or being out and driving down the street, and even being stuck in traffic. I mean, the things that are taken away from you. I had that experience myself. When I was in 8th grade, I had meningitis. And to be honest, school was not my thing. I mean, I made good grades because my dad demanded it. But like most kids, I wasn't in a hurry to go to school any given day. And I went because of the athletics and, of course, the social. But so I was in the hospital and it was January through March for 3 months. And in those days, the hospital rooms weren't like they are today. I mean, they were pretty stark. There was no television, anything like that. And I can remember when I was well enough to get out of bed and look out the window, and I was pretty high up. I'm guessing I was like maybe the 5th or 6th floor of the hospital. And I looked out and I could see a school bus, and it would stop there every morning and would pick up kids. Now, this wasn't in my area. The hospital was in another area from where I went to school. But I can remember thinking, God, I would give anything to get on that bus and go to school and be with my friends and learn. And sometimes we don't realize these little things that really should bring awe to us every single day, but we take them for granted until something happens where they're taken away. So don't wait until something's taken away. Be awe-inspired every single day. The final thing I want to talk about is doing something for somebody else. I came up with this idea for the clinic, and I'm going to initiate it coming up here in the next few weeks. It was inspired by someone that kind of had an idea similar. You know, these little love rocks where people will take little like river rocks and they'll paint a heart on it, or I love you, or a shamrock, or a smiley face, or whatever. And we actually see these in our neighborhood. People put them in their yards and so forth. I'm actually going to there's a 5th grade class who's looking for a fundraiser, and I want that to be their fundraiser for me in the clinic, and I'll obviously provide the funds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 2 of those rocks to each of our staff members every week. And sometime throughout the week, I want them to give 2 of those rocks away to our patients. And of course, the patients we see are those who basically, you know, they are down on their luck and trying to get by and just barely scraping by. And I just want to see what kind of effect it has, not only on the patients, but also on the staff. And so in a future podcast, I'll let you know how that goes. You can do anything. You can bake some cookies for a neighbor, unexpected, buy a little gift for some kid in the neighborhood and just take it by. You can make up a story that, hey, I found this in my closet and, you know, our kids are grown here. We want you to have it, just whatever, but just to bring awe to them. And what happens is it actually brings awe to you as well, and just an unbelievably great feeling. So there you have it. I hope you found this podcast to be awesome, pun intended. And if you would like to help us here at St. Vincent de Paul at the dental clinic, you can see below how you can do that if you'd like to help us in our mission of bringing awe and joy to people by restoring their smiles, those who have no access to care. Again, you can see how you can do that. It'll guide you to the St. Vincent de Paul donation page. If you want, designate dental. If there's so many other wonderful things that happen at St. Vincent de Paul, and you'll see a whole variety of places you can donate. If you choose something else, that's great as well. But please mention that you heard about us on the Happiness Factor. And until next time, go out there and do some awe spotting. It'll bring such joy to your life. Take care. Bye-bye.